The cold ripped all the warmth and strength from my heart in an instant. Kites fell at my feet, and I realized all of them are dead or dormant. Their tails fluttered upwards before freezing, becoming still and silent as the stone all around. Serpents prowled in the distance, eating any kites with the audacity to live in these inhospitable ranges. The valley concentrated blasts of the mountain mother's grief down my path, blocking me, blowing me back each time I tried to advance. I hid behind the ancient headstones of fallen pilgrims to avoid tumbling head over heels back out of the mountain. And I would never have made it if so many of us had not perished here in the years past. The winds were like the pulsations of an icy heartbeat in the mountain mother's chest. It was a sign that even if the mountain mother has forgiven us in all her gentleness and benevolence, we have broken her heart. Give it time. Give her 1,000 more years and 1,000,000 more pilgrims to dash themselves to their deaths upon these cliffs. She will grow stronger again, and she will love us again. She will once again fill the world with life and magic. I have to believe that. I have to believe that this is not all that there is, that I am not all that we are. Kite! Oh, little one, go, this is not the place for you. These are our mistakes to bear. Go home to the deserts and wait for me. In a different lifetime, the things we could have done together. We might have ridden the skies, gone to see all the exotic places of the world. But in this lifetime, there is something I have to do. My feet are sluggish, ice filled in the spaces between my toes. It would have been painful if I could feel anything at all. Magic refilled slowly here. If I stopped at any moment, I feared my limbs would fall from their sockets. A single haven marked the elbow of the mountain. The lantern inside barely warmed me, bringing jagged pain to my frozen face and limbs. But ribbons swarmed here, perhaps around a glyph up above. The glyph showed, beyond a shadow of a doubt, who was responsible for the state of the mountain. Who was responsible for these winds and snows? Our fury and hatred had tied these knots of karma, so only we can unknot them. Journeys were meant to be hard. It would not be redemption without suffering. And this was suffering. My robes dragged, pulled through the snow, and solidified as blocky, icy deadweights. Perhaps if I shed my robes, I could move faster. But if I shed them, I would not survive these winds. I could not feel my hands, or my face, or my ears, Each step through the wind was like pushing through 1,000 tiny knives. I was made for the desert, specifically so I could understand the hardships here. I took shelter in the corpses of serpents, in hollowed metal. The serpents passed overhead in lazy circles, like the leering ghosts of our old mistakes come back to haunt us. I was beyond fear now, beyond resignation or doubt or even despair. My consciousness was white and barren like these mountains. I couldn't think. It wasn't that my determination saw me through. It was that I had nothing else. There was nothing left to me but to put one foot in front of another, to continue crunching through these powdered snow with only the barest hints of relief. And there it was, proof that I was not the only one. So many have pushed on before me. I could almost feel each of their wills channeled through me. I knew none of them had given up until the end. But the suffering seemed endless. No matter how far I climbed, I didn't know how much I had left to go. I couldn't look up to see the stone serpents because my neck had frozen still. I had trouble speaking, with my tongue numb and fat in my mouth. I could only track the serpents from their cries and their searchlights on the ground. Their calls shook deep in my stomach. I almost wanted them to find me, so all of this would end. I tried to think of happy thoughts, but it was hard to remember the city of the setting sun. Hard to remember the rainbow bridge, the flying kites, or even the dry warmth of the desert. And if I could recall my family and friends, this mountain would have taken them from me. I snuck into a crevice out of reach of the serpents. It was a winding passage with kites overhead. The walls here offered respite from the winds. When I emerged, I was almost cogent again. For a moment, I thought I'd made it, but the path still led upwards out of sight. It's just that there was life here once. I can see it in the abundant corpses. Perhaps this used to be like the courtyard in the city of the setting sun, in the warm glow of a dusky summer evening. The snow had its own quiet beauty here, and I allowed my spirits to lift. I was close. I can feel it. How many of us got this far? I wish I had the time to count the headstones littering the hills below. The winds picked up ahead. The final stretch along the wall, the torrents were a jackhammer, pounding me back. Each blow bruised my body, strangled the robe around my throat. Winds screamed through the windows and corridors here. They left cuts and welts across my arms and legs. But I bore it all our mistakes, the weight of all the evils we had done. One mistake, one misstep could send me plummeting down below to start the trek all over again. Finally, I could see the mountain above. Thunder poured and cascaded over the ranges. The storm ripped my ribbon from my neck, sending pieces fluttering away like murders of crows, like rasping leaves in high autumn. The storm was a malicious thing. Soon, I was left with nothing, just a robe on my back and the steel in my heart. Each blast of wind sent me tumbling, battered, and blue. I suppose I should be grateful for the snow. It obscured my vision, so I could not see how many have fallen here and lose hope. Hope. Did I still have hope? My steps came slower now. Time seemed to bend. Sounds faded. I could not hear. I couldn't see. Where was I going? Where was the mother? I couldn't see her. I couldn't see her. Where were the grand libraries, the silver fountains, the groves and trees, and thousands of my people? Just beyond those hills, I would find them all. Mother, I'm coming. I'm coming.